Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
do you know the difference between self-talk and the still small voice?
No.
I guess I'm going to be leading this one.
Absolutely.
So self-talk is what you say to yourself, the inner dialogue that you hear as you go about your life. Some people have a positive voice. For example, if something negative goes on, maybe you get in a car accident, maybe somebody rear ends you. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Could be, well, I'm glad I'm safe. Or, that was close. Or, WTF.
Definitely WTF.
I'm about to kill someone.
I'd be jumping out that vehicle.
Or it could be, oh my God, like I have no money. What's gonna happen? I'm scared.
Yes.
That's self-talk. Now the still small voice is, you're going along your day, somebody rear ends you, and you think, check the person behind you. And so you run and check the person, and they might be having a seizure, and you have to call 911. That's the still small voice. That's your intuition. That's your Jiminy Cricket. That could be your conscience. Could be your spirit guide, your souls from the other side. It could be a past level. It doesn't matter, but it's a still small voice.
Mm.
You know, when we were here in the studio earlier for a previous episode,
Mm-hmm.
you were about to just pass out when you got choked out by a spirit.
For real.
Right?
She choked me.
Right?
Unimpressed.
But like seriously, what were you thinking?
I don't know. I was blank. Like, I couldn't even focus because I was like, okay, I'm choking. And I was like, get it together, get it together, get
That's
it together.
the self-talk.
Holding my breath.
Right? Trying to remain cool and calm.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to
Sure
keep
was.
it together. But then when you were honest and you had a voice that said to you, just tell what you were experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I think something choked me.
It felt like somebody choked me, to be honest.
And like I was like, okay, well, let's see. And I was tapping in. Is it a spirit? Is it somebody here? Like, what's going on?
I was getting choked out. That's what happened.
But when you honored that still small voice and shared with me your experience, rather than playing it off as, oh, it's just coughing, clearing my throat, we were able to help somebody in the studio, a staff member here at WS Radio, to give them some wisdom and advice from a loved one who had passed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that experience helped us to bring some healing and advice. I remember when we were walking out to get some coffee that day, what was happening was he was on the phone getting help and trying to make some changes. And I heard that. So we have to ask ourselves, self-talk, is self-talk self-sabotaging? Like something happens and somebody, maybe we don't get a phone call from a loved one.
Mm.
And you're going, that trifling, they're cheating on me, this, that, and the other.
Amen.
And here you got to call me, and I go, well, is that necessarily true?
No.
That's self-talk. So we have to get into a groove of listening to the voices in our head and recognizing, what are we hearing? Are we hearing inner guidance? Like when you called me, call again.
Mm-hmm.
That was your still small voice saying, be persistent.
That's true. You have two voices and you need to listen to them.
Self-talk is like that. Oh my gosh, am I having a panic attack? Is it, am I going to make it? Those are the questions that we hear.
Okay.
And inner guidance, that still small voice is like, take a step, 2 steps to the right, and then somebody misses you when they throw a ball.
True.
Right?
True.
Right?
I feel that.
So you're at work and you get an email you don't like. The inner talk goes, effing, how dare you? But the still small voice says, you know what, just say, hey, like, I'm sensing that something's not right.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything I can do? And that takes a mature route.
That's very true.
We can train ourselves to have more positive self or constructive self-talk. It doesn't always have to be negative. Sometimes our self-talk is taken from when we were little kids. You'll never be enough. You're not a good person. You should be ashamed of yourself. We always hear that. You've been bad. You need to be alone and think about what you've done.
More sounds like some parents.
Right? We've all heard these things. And what do when challenges strike? We go back to that self-talk because that's all we hear.
Mm-hmm.
But we can change that self-talk. We can talk back and go, why do I feel ashamed? Probably you're going to hear crickets. You're probably going to hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you go, oh, you did something bad. You should be punished for that. No, that's self-torture. That's hell that we put ourselves through. And inner guidance says, be honest. Take a step. Give it a try. Go ahead. Call this person. Use this color when you're painting. Try this note.
Yeah.
It's your intuitive hunches, and we all have them. And some people will say, oh, well, that's my imagination. Well, then so shall it be your imagination. Let it be the constructive use of your imagination. If you hear a thought you don't like, oh, you're a terrible person. And say, why am I a terrible person?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What makes me a terrible person? Oh, you're ugly. Well, what makes me ugly? These are the types of dialogues we need to have with ourselves. We don't have to believe everything that we hear. I remember this one time I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw an ad, and the lady that they were using for the ad, it was not a conventional beauty. She's a rock singer. She's got a missing tooth. She got a scraggly looking face and hair, but she's got some kind of style. She's got intrigue. She's got creativity. You can see that there's something beyond physical beauty.
Yeah.
But what I was seeing in the comments was a bunch of bullying people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's so ugly. Your brand went down the drain. I would never buy your products because of this ugly person.
That's rude.
Okay?
That's rude.
That's rude. But imagine if these people are saying this to somebody they don't even know. What on earth are they saying to themselves?
The people they know. Yeah, or the people they know.
Exactly. And I can just sit here and look at that and go, wow, you know, imagine all of the bullies that exist within the minds of people. Think about, oh, so-and-so's Mexican, so-and-so's black, oh, you're Chinese, you're this, you're that, and it's associated with a bad thing. And then kids learn, oh, well, I'm black, that must be a bad thing. Oh, I'm Asian, that must make me insecure and unsafe.
Mm-hmm. That's tough.
And
That's
these are the inner dialogues that kids and people are growing up with, is that you're hearing somebody else's voice inside your head. Self-talk usually begins as somebody else's voice.
It's what you're taught. It's like coming from your family. If your family has a different view of how a person should be, the kids pick up on that.
Right.
Kids pick up on, okay, this is right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we have a lot of that going on in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
I know in Germany myself, I have half black siblings.
Yeah.
And my nephew gets called the N-word quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
From the other ethnicities, the Russians, the Polish, and we don't raise our family like that. We don't raise to know what color. We don't care about orientation. And so we try to have him be positive. You're just chocolate kissed. The sun gave you a little bit more of a tint than everybody else, but you're still the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're still the same as everybody else. Because that is what's the biggest thing, is we need to reflect that into children.
Exactly. So it's time to evaluate, what is the voice that I'm hearing in my head? Is it someone else's voice? It could be a partner, it could be a parent, it could be an ex-boyfriend or a girlfriend, it could be childhood friends, it could be bullies, it could be the news. Ooh, talk about the news. If you've got Fox News or whatever news,
CNN,
any kind of news, you're hearing somebody else's voice telling you how to think and telling you how to feel.
Scary.
Right?
It's scary.
But then there's this other part of you that says, you know what, I can make a difference. I can make a change. I can try something new.
And you absolutely can.
And you can. And it's important to, what voice are you listening to? And if your self-talk is not productive, it's time to evaluate it and question those thoughts you have in your head, that dialogue, the narrative that you're telling. Oh, well, you know what? I grew up poor and I'll always be poor and nothing will ever change about me. My life will never change. I'll live in a small Habitat for Humanity house. Guess what? That was my childhood. But I didn't believe that. It was a stepping stone. It was a phase of my life. And inside of me was hope. Inside of me was imagination. Inside of me was vigor and excitement for the future, because I knew that the future was mine because I could create it.
It's what helped build you.
Yeah. So if I believe everything that everybody told me, and if I believed every negative voice in my head, you've said in a previous episode, I would be stuck, I would move forward if I didn't forgive. You also have to forgive yourself for the negative things that you try to convince yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, what do I tell your children after the beach?
What?
They are little bronze-kissed babies. They are sun babies. They are beautiful. They are made in their own image. And I will not let anybody tell them different, because these two children have more insight than most adults have. I mean, her daughter walked up to me and said, "So you're a homosexual?" And I was caught off guard because I've never heard a 7-year-old say, "So you're homosexual?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "So you like boys?" Yeah. I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, you're right.
And what'd you do?
And she said, "That's cool." And then we went on about our way to the water. Like, that was it. Like, and that's an incredible thing. And we need more of that. We need more of
open dialogue.
People. Open dialogue, positivity.
Acceptance.
If you call yourself fat, honey, you're not fat, you're thick. You are made in your own image.
You are made in your own image.
If you think you're ugly, you're not ugly. You're made in your distinct way.
Yes.
Don't let somebody tell you you gotta be this because everybody else is like that. And that self-talk is a lot. It means a lot, because when I wake up in the morning, my self-talk is always there. Get up, take a shower.
Yeah.
Get up, wash your face. Get up, do your routine. I mean, y'all can't see it, but I'm peeling like a peach. I mean, everything is peeling. I got sunburn. I came out here the first day I got here and burnt everything. But I don't care what people say, because I'm me. I wake up in the morning and my self-talk says, "You got this. You beautiful." And my mama always taught me that. She's like, never let somebody take your beauty away from you.
Yeah.
Because you're made in your own image. So it's time to shape up and ship out the negative thoughts and start ordering those positive thoughts to come in. That positive self-talk. I can, I will, I am beautiful, I am individually made. Nobody else looks like me. That's the most amazing thing. Nobody else looks like me. Nobody else looks like you. Nobody else looks like your cousin down the street. Nobody else looks like the old guy across the street.
Right.
We are us. We are a direct reflection of ourselves. And if you cannot be positive for yourself, you got to start learning.
Correct.
You got to start learning. Change all that talk and get it together.
Well, it seems like you've mastered my lesson on self-talk.
After I listen, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, let's take a good example. Remember Lady Gaga, Stephanie Germanotta, "You Will Never Be Famous"? That was a private group set up by some haters that went to school with her and said that. Stephanie Germanotta, "You will never be famous."
And she's famous.
She got what?
Millions.
She got millions. She's done it. She's won awards in every category. Grammy.
And she's an overall
Tony,
humanitarian.
Emmy. Yes.
She takes care of people. She is an exceptional human being. She has a German song called Scheiße, which literally means poop, but a little bit different in German. But she literally is one of those people that doesn't care about what others think. She's positive. She's herself. She lives in her own image. She went from pop star Lady Gaga all the way to shallow. She is that all-around woman that is so confident it's sexy to every end of the earth. To all of us, you're like, oh my God, I love that. Look at Sia. Sia hid herself for the longest time. She's also wonderful. Look at Adele.
Oh, yeah.
Adele's journey. She literally wrote albums after a hard thing in her life. 25, you know what I'm saying? Adele went from being bullied about being big to people mocking her down to nothing. She is itty bitty now. And she is beautiful. And that's what we want to portray to you guys. You're individually beautifully made. But what does your self-talk say about you? That's the most important. How are you going to reflect on your self-talk after hearing this?
Yeah.
And if you heard this, you need to go back and you need to listen to everything else we talked about, because you need to reflect. You need to be aware. You need to check that surrounding, because every little thing ties into your self-talk.
Amen. High five. So many people just don't trust themselves. Why? Because we've made mistakes in the past.
That inner trust is the biggest thing ever. You have to be able to use that wisdom to be able to make that decision. I think as humans, we're so protective of ourselves
Oh yeah.
that we forget to trust everybody else.